If you don't ever have to see sewage fungus, don't bother, because it's disgusting. It's like a kind of grey-brown jelly that coated everything in that brook. It's shocking. What's happened is they've allowed this to degrade over so many years that now the problem is so big. Some people will say it's too big to tackle, and we say it's too big to ignore. The hours that the water companies have been spilling untreated sewage are shocking. And it's been put out to the public that this happens only in rare occasions for short periods of time, and it's an emergency to stop it flooding into their homes. But the reality is it's far more extensive. It's happening in dry weather, and it will be ignored almost every time. The tiny fraction of prosecutions from the huge number of offences means that it's no form of deterrent.
Does somebody not govern this? I mean, it's got to be against the law?
We say it is against the law. The water company wants to argue that point. The Environment Agency says that type of event was against the law, but they're reluctant to go up against the industry. Even 30 years after privatization, they're still not in control. In fact, the industry is quite clearly now pretty much taken over its own regulation. It's in the industry's interest to cut corners. They call it sweating the assets, and it means you don't fix anything. The industry as a whole, I believe, roughly has made 58 billion since the start of privatization. Bearing in mind this comes from bill payers, it just looks like an utter failure. People have had enough. They can see it happening. They know that there's something really badly wrong. Something is amiss, and they have to take it into their own hands.
So I have this crazy fear of water.
Okay.
Really, it's a phobia, actually. Big deal for me to get into the Thames. In this day and age, the last thing I ever thought I would need to be fearful for in the Thames was swimming in somebody's poo.
Absolutely. When I was a kid wandering around streams and I was fishing, I was just looking at stuff. We'd come across beautiful places. No one thought to take photographs. No one thought, I better photograph this. One day it's going to be gone, did they? Suddenly, we didn't even see it happening. But you'd go back to places that you went as a kid and think, hang on a minute, what's happened here? Many young people that I meet now that are in the water have never seen it in any other state.
Alex, weren't you saying that you had interviewed a man in his 70s that used... Yes. And he used to fly fish when he was younger.
Yeah, when he was my age, when he was 13, 14. On the Windrush. What he said about how the river used to be, how it used to be gin clear, you'd see every pebble on the bottom. What he said about that kind of started to scare me, because I started thinking, okay, what if my generation grows up without realizing what it used to be like, and then we'll just grow up and accept that that's how a river is, and this problem will never be fixed.
So if an individual's just at home watching a video, what can they do? I mean, what is the most important thing and the most impactful thing that they can do?
I think the greatest thing they can do is know, because when you get a lot of people that know about this and care enough so that if there's a petition or it becomes a voting issue, that they understand that things aren't great, things are not how they're being portrayed, then they can make their views known to their MPs and their councillors and make this an issue that politicians care about, because then we start to see change. Complain to the water companies and just be aware of your surroundings.
When we all succeed, can the rivers ever look like they did before?
Well, the great thing about rivers is they're moving. Once you stop polluting a river, you will see recovery quite quickly, because you're giving life clean water, and you'll be amazed. People need to understand that life will change really rapidly for the better if you stop killing it, stop polluting it.